Hello and welcome to a marketing masterclass. Today we're going to be going over the most common mistakes that I see made and how to fix them, how to do a better job, how to fix everything to do with your marketing. This video is going to be relatively short. We're going to get straight into it. Okay, starting off with Facebook ads. Now, this also includes TikTok ads. Let me first off say, with TikTok ads, please don't do them until you have 5,000 to 10,000 people who you can retarget on TikTok. Full stop. Facebook ads. I personally think this is a great method. I've made money off it. I think that every major brand is running ads. However, you want to have a strong organic following and you want to have money in the bank. And this is either or. So if you've got loads of money, bro, go ahead, blow it. But if you want to actually get results, you're better off doing a cheaper version, influencer marketing or organic marketing, because the money should go into the sample and the money should go into creating infinite content, which is organic content, before it goes into ads, unless you have a proven product, so it's gone viral before, or you just have money to sink in. You just got cash in the bank. And as you guys know, I'm looking for brands who are making in between 10 and 60K a month, or 60K a drop, dependent on a couple of factors. Talk to you on the one-on-one call. Not a hard CTA, you don't have to book a call, but you get the point. In general, those brands as well, those brands include, I'm talking to every brand doing 60K a drop. Listen, like, you don't need to be running ads. There's people out here who do $600,000 drops and they don't run ads. So it's about what you're good at and it's about what works. Don't force ads. You don't have to. It can be a backbone. It can be infinitely scalable if you get it right. However, usually what that includes is getting influencers right first and then getting organic right as well. Moving on. Let's talk about organic. Should you post 3 times a day? Should you do this? Should you do that? This is what you should do. Full stop. Make an amazing video. Make an amazing video. I had to say it twice. Actually, for a second, don't do anything other than make great content and you'll see your views go up. Please, actually listen to this. There is no reason to film bad videos because they will get 200 views and you will get 0 sales. I have never seen a terrible, low light, bad product, short, uninformative, bad sound, terrible strategy, just overall video with 10 followers on your account do well. Videos do well when they're viral. What is the framework of a viral video? The framework of a viral video is emotion. Emotion creates a reaction. Reaction creates traction. Traction creates action. Action creates a faction, and a faction will buy you a mansion. It's all about bringing people into something. Every single one of those stages, I know it all rhymes and stuff, but every single one of those things is very, very much break it down. Okay, so high emotion things, girls, money, drugs, weapons, and if you like cars, all of that stuff is high emotion. You associate a strong emotion with those things. All of those things create a reaction. Either a positive reaction or a negative reaction, it doesn't matter. Rock and roll had an extremely negative reaction from all of the parents, the Christian parents, in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Now, rock and roll had an extremely negative reaction in the 70s. Now, that negative reaction almost made it have a more positive reaction. Same thing with rap music. So we can take from culture and we can see here that whether you're controversial or you're non-controversial, you're going to get a reaction. And a reaction, positive or negative, is always good. Then that creates action. Don't do this, don't watch that, don't turn on that music, don't buy these clothes, don't wear this, or this is so cool, all my friends are wearing this. Everyone says this is outlawed, this is banned, this isn't allowed. And you don't have to go for the, against the authority stuff. I see people do super well with hiking shit, with these fucking coats and shit. And, and it really comes down to having a good product and also solving a problem. That stuff is more problem solving. But realistically, let's talk about the fashion industry. You're solving a social problem. You're solving a status problem. You're not solving a fucking actual hardware problem, if that makes sense. If you are, then obviously it's a slightly different situation that I'm not going to explain, because most brands, most Instagram brands, most streetwear brands don't do that. So you're solving a status problem. This action is where you get sales from. This is where you actually close people, because they've somebody else has had a reaction, and then you now, or the buyer's mind now pushes for action, or the buyer's had a reaction and then they now push for action, and then that attraction is pretty self-explanatory. That just builds up. The more and more people do that, because people aren't that independent or different in any singular way. People aren't creating things. You know, people aren't having the emotion for the first time ever. You see those nostalgia videos that go so viral. It's because everyone's had shared experiences. So all you need to do is create a shared emotion, and you'll just fucking sell out. Traction creates money, obviously, but more importantly, traction creates faction. Faction means group of things, group of people. Faction, I don't know the exact definition, will pop up on the screen. Once you create faction, you create community. This community can be resold to an infinite number of times, and then once it can be sold to an infinite number of times, then you buy a mansion. There you go. That's it. That's how it works. That's marketing. The hardest part is finding an emotion that is strong enough to where people will have a reaction. And how strong of an emotion are you? How far are you willing to go? And how far does that help you? Because you can get a reaction from people and then not get the action. That's where the disconnect is. A lot of brands do this hyper viral marketing stuff, these guerrilla marketers, and then it just doesn't generate sales. And it's like, why? And it's like, well, because what you're doing is actually to piss people off, but what it doesn't do is bring other people in. Because the reaction actually comes second, interestingly enough, in a lot of things. It wasn't that, and then sometimes you get a feedback loop where they now push something that is supposed to piss other people off, but at its purest form, your thing should be it by itself, and it is what it is, and then that has a reaction to it that is negative. So it wasn't that, let's take rock and roll as the example here, it wasn't that those artists were coming out and marketing to the parents and saying, we support the devil. You know, that's not what it was. It was more underlying, and it was more about the quiet push against authority. Some of it was very aggressive, I won't argue that, but it wasn't marketed to them, so they didn't know about it until they heard it. It was a very secondary thing, where you hear it on your kid's stereo at the time, you hear it on the kid's cassette tape, and you're like, what the fuck is this? You can't say that. You can't do that. And then it was like, wow, this is something that I can rebel with. I now have this thing. It's the same thing with clothes. People don't wear Louis Vuitton because it's high quality materials. I don't fucking, that's not true. People wear Louis Vuitton because it's a status symbol. It makes other people look at you. It makes other people view you in a certain light. But is that the point of Louis Vuitton, or is that the reaction? That's what happens when you wear it because of what the aura surrounded, right? However, it doesn't say on it, this luxury clothing a lot of the times pretty understated. The staple pieces, you know, they have LV on it. What does LV mean? And what does it make other people think about you is something that is like a secondary material. That's the point I'm trying to get across it. So the problem can come sometimes where people write it too on the nose and they market it to people who hate it, and they will hate on it and you will get traction from that. However, the fan base who you're actually selling to, you need to know who you're actually selling to and who they're actually rebelling against. That's how the sales actually come in, because you market to them, and those people indirectly show other people, and those people hate it. And whatever it can be, it's just going to have an extremely strong reaction about it. You need to also think, is it memeable to some extent? Can people laugh about it? Can the factions of people enjoy it from a comedic standpoint as well, and not necessarily because of what the sentiment behind it is, but because of how it can be portrayed when the reaction comes back to it. Can that be, and usually like 99% of the time the answer to that is yes. That's very advanced stuff. Let's talk about influencer marketing, and then let's roll it back into the phrases that I was talking about. Influencer marketing is the best type of marketing in the entire world. It is sometimes the most profitable, sometimes the least profitable. It's my favorite. It's very difficult to do, and it's a lot more about who you know networking than it is about, with Facebook ads, you just kind of set it up and you know a lot more as well. There's a lot more research to be done about what is the fan base and who is the fan base. And so if you're a type of guy who knows a lot about the scene you're in, you should do influencer marketing, because it will come like second nature. And if you're in the scene, like if you're, let's say you've got like an emo brand and you're like super emo and you know all the emo influencers, really fucking easy, isn't it? Because you know what they like, then you know what they like, you can craft specific offers for them, all that stuff is easier. Now let's talk about how to easily create emotion and create viral content, even like organically and even with Facebook ads, whilst utilizing influencers. Influencers, a lot of the time, you got to bring it down to the core of it, which is, what is an influencer? An influencer is someone who influences people to do things. You can't use the word in the definition, so I'll pop up the actual definition. It makes so much sense though, right? If somebody is wearing, let's take like a female example. Let's say you've got a girl who's wearing like super nice, really classy stuff, and her whole aesthetic is that she's, like Bridgerton and shit like that, right? And then her link in bio is this really nice uptown brand, which is super, super, super preppy, I'll give you an example of that up on the screen. She's, by making content and by getting millions of views and stuff like that, her goal here is to influence people into wanting to look like her. And that's what it is. That's what it is. I want to look like her. How do I look like her? I wear what she wears. Is that the actual answer to the question? No. Is that why the makeup industry makes billions every year? Yes. Is that the reason why you have massive brands like Victoria's Secret, massive brands like all the massive female brands, full stop? Yes, because that's what it is. It's not a necessity. Like, it's not a necessity, and I'm not acting like it's a female only thing at all. This is across the board. See those fat guys wearing Gucci? Gucci don't have fat models though. Same thing with gym wear. Oh, they grind it in gym wear. That was a real reason for a lot of Lululemon's early success, because they didn't have XL, they didn't have extra large. Not that I agree or disagree with any of that. However, it's the way that they marketed it, and it's the way that they put it forward to you. It's like, okay, this is what we support and this is what we don't. You can take a look at right-wing brands, left-wing brands, anything that creates emotion again, anything that's friction. Look at friction, you feel a little bit awkward about that. Okay, that's clothing brand. Weight, clothing brand. Female, male, clothing brand. LGBTQ, clothing brand. I can't tell you the amount of money that people were made off of either supporting or not supporting the LGBTQ community. Do you remember Super Straight, the TikTok trend? They made shirts. They sold a lot of shirts. Take luxury brands, for example. Usually it's about status, but there's a lot to be said about, what truly is about is the insecurities of people. That's what status thrives off of. That's what the fashion industry is. Not to get too fucking, what's the word, deep into it, but it's the same with every artistic thing. And you can look at it from a negative point, right? Like, you can look at music is about, this and that and this, and there's a lot of negatives in it for sure, and there's a lot of, the marketing's not always bright. However, there is good stuff. There is really good stuff, and this is a little bit off topic. I'm gonna tie it back in 1 second. But I think this is really useful to know. Like, this is the deeper understanding, the deeper analysis of, okay, why am I marketing this? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Is what I'm doing here positive or negative? How do I tap into the mind? It's just psychology, really. All this is psychology. And this is how brands can charge so much. And, ever hear somebody talk about, like, oh, luxury, or, I charge this is, they charge like thousands of dollars for t-shirts. How do I get a $300 off-white shirt? And it's like, who would ever buy that? It's like, it's what's behind the shirt. It's what the shirt actually means. It has nothing to do with, the quote-unquote shirt. So understanding the brand and what is branding and what meaning does your brand have and why do people buy your brand and who buys your brand and for what like specific, actionable, understandable reasons is so fucking important. That's where you like dial in marketing. 7 ROAS, millions of views. Because as soon as you know, okay, frat boys buy my brand, fucking Aiden Ross gets sent the shit, you do Nick Naracina gets sent the shit, Milk Boys get sent the shit, you make videos and pictures with them and you throw them up as creatives, okay, 7 ROAS, and then organic content is all based around that ICP. And then you get millions of views. And the people who are watching the videos are the people who love that stuff. And then if you want to sell even more, you want to get more of a reaction, you make it a little bit edgy. You make it a little bit edgy. You make it a little bit something that like either whatever the biggest fan base against that is. So either it's something that girls don't like, or it's something that the parents don't like, or it's something that the school doesn't like. Fuck my school. And then you're wearing that shirt. And it's like, you can't wear that. We're going to ban this on campus. Organic, million views. My school banned this. 7 ROAS. Then you get fucking all the influencers to pull up to the frat houses. Like, that's honestly how it works. Like, that's honestly how you do it. That's how you go on a generational run. Look at like LaMelo Ball, LeVar Ball, LiAngelo. Look at their run as a clothing brand. The guy doesn't like let me show you the Shopify website. I'm going to be doing a video on this soon, but let me show you the Shopify website. Yeah, your website's better than that. Your website's definitely better than that. Why they make, I'd assume hundreds of thousands, if not millions. Marketing. We've got 3 stars, right? Like, because they've got Lamar, who's a 4th star. Plus they got Lil Dicky, who's a 5th one. So like, you need to look at it like that. And all of the controversy surrounding the Ball family did nothing but push the stock up every single time. That's what it did. So I think that that's really, really important to understand. I think that's a super key thing about branding. Like I know I went on and on and on, but this is what you guys need to see, unfortunately. This is I feel like such a beneficial talk. Little one-man podcast here, but you get the idea. So to tie back in influencer marketing with reaction, traction, faction, that stuff. Influencer marketing is the best way to steal somebody else's faction, if that makes sense. It's also a really good way to create a reaction. It's also a really good way to have this clout by association. Look at Hera. Hera had clout by association because of Conor McGregor, and that's why they paid him whatever, 10, 20 grand if you look at the YouTube short. Bro's been rinsing it for 2 years. So I know they've been absolutely grinding, and that's funny how that goes viral again organically. Like that goes viral again. I know everybody's seen that short. Or we cornered Conor McGregor into a room and we said to him that we'd give him 20 grand if he just wore the shirt right now, and they didn't believe me. So we promised him, and then we actually sent him the money, and then he called me and said, you guys know the one I'm talking about as well. So again, that goes organically viral again because of influencer marketing. If he fucking got a random guy in the room, it wouldn't have gone viral. Again. So that's how it works. That's like, I don't have nothing more for you guys. If you want to book a one-on-one call with me, then my Instagram is in the link in the bio. You can send me a message. I appreciate you guys for watching. We're going to keep going crazy. I'm yeah, we got our first TikTok to hit 10,000 views. I'm gonna keep dropping this like actual analytical deep state source on the clothing game and branding and influencers, organic and Facebook ads. I'm gonna keep trying to do it in one take as well, which is not what happened in this video, but you get the idea. Peace, guys.